Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I am absolutely certain that you, you are doing fantastic. And if you're not, well, now you are. I just let you know. So there's that. I'm doing pretty good myself, actually. But I got, well, I had a friend at work who told me about a friend, and this guy's pretty young. He's in his late 30s. And he had a friend from back where he's from who he had grown up with, I assume, and they very close friends. And he told me, we always had a lot of fun together. I mean, it's just friends. And he had passed away. This friend of his had passed away recently. And of course, he was sad. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's especially at that age, you don't ever really expect that kind of thing. Not usually. But the thing that he said that kind of struck me. He said, "All I've got now are the memories left. The memories of the things that we did together." I'm like, "Yeah, but really, that's great. I mean, considering because in this life, when we, as I say all the time, we are our true higher self is outside of this realm, and we are jacked into here through the filter of the brain so that we can have these physical bodies and that are made to navigate and interact in this particular realm, right? But everything that makes up this human body, every single atom, it is on loan, right? Because my true self is not in here, meaning in this reality, is not in this realm. But I am jacked into it and able to negotiate it and interact in it, things like that. And same for you. But everything that makes up, every single atom that makes up this body is what was in this realm before we got here and will be here after we're gone. So we don't take any of this with us. But what we do take with us when we leave are the experiences that we had. And with regards to relationships, the memories from those relationships, the strong bonds and all of that we build with each other while we are in here. So he was talking about, all I've got left are the memories now. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the main thing. That's what's most important, because that's what you can take with you. And your friend, now that he is jacked out of this realm, that's what he's got with him as well, or the memories and the experiences that he gained while in it. So, and I can't remember, I should have looked maybe, but I can't remember if it was the Greeks or the Romans or whatever. But back in the day, that was why they wanted to have a legend told about them, because they believed, and it's at least it sounds great if nothing else, but they believed that once they were gone, as long as their legend lived, then they lived. In other words, as long as stories were being continued, as long as people continued to tell stories about them after they're gone, then they live on. And that's what I told my friend. I said, until you told me about this, I had no idea about this friend of yours at all. But now that you've told me the story, I now know. And I am now participating in the memory. And now, dear loved one, I am on here telling you. And now, even though we don't know the guy's name, it doesn't matter. We are still honoring his memory by just sharing that, just by simply sharing that story. So that to me is pretty profound, especially when we realize that yes, we are living in a dream or the illusion. And I know some people don't like calling it an illusion because the word illusion does have that negative connotation, as I've said before, that implies that you've been tricked or duped or something. Okay, fine. There is a much nicer word for it, and that is Maya. But Maya is the word that means the illusion of this life, of this realm. By the way, loved ones, before I continue, please, if you have not yet, please hit the like button, the big thumbs up. I would so appreciate it if you would do that. It really helps the algorithm to spread it around, and I would really appreciate that. It would help grow the channel, and that would be great. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, I would so appreciate it if you would take a second and click the button. If for no other reason, at least I'm real. I mean, I'm not an AI generated thing. So at least I got that, right? There is that. Because there's a lot of those channels out there now, and they are AI. And I'm not saying they don't have decent content. I'm not. I'm just saying hey, at least I'm that. Anyway, it's worth a subscribe. Anyway, okay, loved one. So, yeah, but the Maya, right, where we jack into this body for the sake of having an illusion, or I'm sorry, geez, I was trying to avoid using that word, the Maya, where we jack into this body for the sake of having an experience, for the sake of living a lifetime, right? And a big part of that is building relationships, forming bonds, and but ultimately also to gain enlightenment, to gain wisdom. And I realize that on the outside of this, our higher self probably already knows all of those things. And in that regard, it would be like, well, then what is the point? Well, the point is everything in between, right? As I've said before, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. It's the getting from here to there that matters. It's coming into this as a completely blank slate, having no idea what we truly are, our true nature, our true power. Having no idea that we are divine sparks of the one true creator. But once we get here and our eyes begin to open and we begin to realize that, it's amazing. The transformation that we see in this short lifetime. And I know some people may say, no, that wasn't one short lifetime. That was many lifetimes. And I also know that a lot of people will say, well, that's not exactly fair. Why do I always get a gnat fly in front of me? But a lot of people will say, no, it's not exactly fair to come into a lifetime and let's say get 50% of the way there and then come to the end of our life. And then it's like, well, you didn't get all the way there. So we come back in again and we're back at zero. I don't think that's exactly accurate. I understand why people look at it that way. I do. But I don't believe that that is exactly accurate. Now, let's say, for example, getting to 100 is the goal. Okay. So we come in here for one lifetime and we only get to 20. And then we come back in again. And it's like, well, yeah, but you start back at zero again. So how are you ever going to get to 100? Well, that is your soul's evolution. Right? That's going to be I don't think you start back at zero is what I'm getting at. I think we build on our progress. But point is, while we're here, we gain so much insight. We gain so much wisdom. And we do eventually get to, I would say, a graduation phase. But nonetheless, this is a dream within a dream, within a dream. And is it all, and some people say, well, does that mean that the dream just goes on forever? It's just layers and layers and layers and layers of dreams? Because that is, some people become nihilistic when they think that way. It's like, no, not, I mean, yes and no. Eventually, yes, we do get back to the original source of it all, and that would be the creator, or some people call God source. And that's a very accurate way of putting it. That's the source of the whole thing. The original I am. That is the consciousness that had the aha moment and said, I am, I exist. And then in its imagination began creating. And then the layers began happening. But when we continue up the ladder, I suppose, if you want to look at it that way, through the layers, yes, we would eventually get back to source. And I believe that's where we're all heading anyway. But between now and then, we come into these constructs, we come into these Maya for the purpose of gaining insight, for the purpose of developing relationships, for lots of purposes. So, anyway, loved one, that is what I got. And again, if you have not hit the like button, please do. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, please share this message with someone that you think would like to hear it or should. But for now, that is what I got. I do love you. I do. And I will be back directly.